It was supposed to be just another late evening drive, a quiet escape from the city lights, a moment of peace away from the glaring cameras, the endless fan requests, and the responsibilities that had suddenly come with fame. But for both Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn, the beloved Thai couple whose bond had become a beacon of love and resilience, that evening became the one that changed everything. What started as a journey home turned into the fatal turn that shattered not only their promises to each other but also the hearts of thousands who had followed their story with admiration and hope. Rising stars in the spotlight. To many, both Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn were more than just entertainers. They were symbols of authenticity in an industry that often thrives on manufactured images. Boat, known for his gentle charisma and quick humor, came from a modest background. His sharp intellect and quiet determination earned him a reputation as one of Thailand's promising young creatives. His partner, Oat, carried his own remarkable story, a mix of discipline and vulnerability, with a smile that seemed to dissolve walls around him. Together, they weren't just performers, they were visionaries. Their on-screen chemistry in My Stubborn transcended into real life, making them one of the most talked-about couples in recent Thai entertainment. Fans adored them not just for their artistry but for the sincerity with which they loved one another. A rarity in an industry often ruled by appearances. A love built on promises. What made Boat and Oat so captivating wasn't just their public personas but their private devotion to each other. Friends describe evenings spent in their shared apartment, cooking simple meals, laughing at inside jokes, and talking endlessly about their plans for the future. They had this way of making you believe in love again, recalls a close friend from university. They weren't perfect but they were real. And that's what made them special. Among their many promises was a shared dream, to travel the world together once their careers allowed more breathing space. Japan, Italy, and Greece topped their list. They promised to always protect one another, to hold on tightly no matter how loud the world outside became. But destiny had a crueler script waiting. The fatal turn. On that September night, the couple had just wrapped up a late dinner with colleagues. Oat was driving as he usually did, while Boat rested his head against the passenger seat window, humming along softly to the radio. The roads were slick from an earlier rain. Visibility was reduced, yet they pressed on, careful but weary, eager to get home. According to reports, it was at a sharp curve along a provincial highway that tragedy struck. A truck, allegedly speeding and failing to brake in time, swerved dangerously into their lane. Oat attempted to maneuver, but the wet asphalt betrayed him. Their car spun out of control, colliding head-on with the barrier. Witnesses recall the screech of tires and the deafening impact that followed. For many, it was over in seconds, but for Boat and Oat, it was the cruel moment that silenced years of promises. The aftermath. Emergency responders arrived swiftly, but the scene was already devastating. Boat Yongyut was pronounced dead on the spot. Oat Pasakorn, though pulled out alive, succumbed to his injuries hours later at the hospital. News spread like wildfire across social media platforms. Fans flooded Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram with messages of disbelief. Hashtags carrying their names trended globally within hours. "I can't believe this. They were the reason I believed in true love," wrote one devastated fan. Life is so unfair. Even colleagues in the entertainment industry struggled to find words. Some posted black screens with broken heart emojis, others penned long tributes recalling Boat and Oat's kindness behind the scenes. Families in mourning. The deepest grief, of course, belonged to their families. Boat's mother, who had always quietly supported his dreams despite worrying about his unconventional path, was said to have collapsed upon hearing the news. Oat's father, often protective yet proud of his son's courage, told reporters through tears, "They were each other's happiness. That's all a parent could ever want for their child. Now both are gone, and I don't know how to carry this pain." The families held a joint wake, an unprecedented gesture in Thai culture, but one that felt fitting. Their lives had been intertwined in love. Their farewell would also be shared. Public grief, private memories. Mourners lined up for hours, leaving flowers, handwritten notes, and photographs at the funeral halls. Many fans whispered prayers, while others simply wept in silence. A particularly touching moment came when a group of fans performed a soft, acoustic cover of the My Stubborn theme song at the memorial. Those in attendance described the atmosphere as one of unbearable sorrow mixed with profound gratitude. "They gave us so much," a fan said, holding a candle. "Now all we can do is keep their story alive." Unanswered questions. The tragedy sparked an outcry about road safety in Thailand. Why was a truck allowed to speed recklessly on a rainy night? Could better infrastructure or stricter law enforcement have prevented the crash? While investigations continue, critics argue that Oat and Oat became the latest victims of a system that often neglects safety in favor of convenience. Their deaths, many say, should serve as a wake-up call. The legacy they leave behind. Though their journey was cut short, Oat and Oat's impact remains undeniable. Beyond their work, they opened conversations about LGBTQ+ visibility in Thai entertainment, inspiring countless young people to embrace who they are without fear. They weren't activists in the traditional sense, notes a cultural critic. But by simply existing, loving each other openly, and thriving in their craft, they made a statement far louder than words. Their planned projects will remain unfinished, but their legacy endures in the memories of those they touched, in the laughter they shared on screen, the sincerity they carried off-screen, and the promises they made, even if fate never let them fulfill them. A future stolen, a memory preserved. The story of both Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn is not just one of loss but of love lived intensely, however briefly. It is a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful journeys are not measured in years but in depth, in the ability to inspire, to move hearts, to make strangers feel less alone. Their promises may have been shattered by that fatal turn, but their story continues to ripple through those who believe in love, resilience, and the courage to live authentically. And perhaps, somewhere beyond the reach of human sorrow, Oat and Oat are still keeping their promises, side by side, together, forever. The nation may still be reeling from the sudden loss of both Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn, but to understand why their deaths left such an indelible wound, one must look beyond the tragedy itself. Their story did not begin with that fateful crash. It began with two young men navigating life, identity, and love in a world that wasn't always kind to them. Childhood roots and dreams. Oat Yongyut was born in a small town just outside Bangkok. The youngest of 3 siblings, he was known for his curious nature and ability to see beauty in simplicity. Friends recall that even as a child he was drawn to performance, always the one reciting lines from TV dramas or making up skits during school recess. Money was scarce at home, but his mother, a devoted single parent, nurtured his artistic dreams despite pressure from relatives to steer him toward safer professions. Meanwhile, Oat Pasakorn grew up in a different but equally challenging environment. Raised in a middle-class household, Oat was expected to follow in his father's footsteps as an engineer. Yet from a young age it was clear he had a performer spirit. He joined school plays, excelled in public speaking, and often entertained classmates with impersonations. Both Oat and Oat carried dreams bigger than their circumstances. By the time fate crossed their paths at university auditions, their destinies had already been written in ambition and resilience. The spark that ignited. Their first meeting was anything but glamorous. Oat reportedly arrived late to a university drama workshop, flustered and apologetic. Oat, already seated, teased him for his tardiness. That playful exchange turned into laughter, and laughter soon turned into conversations that lasted long after rehearsals ended. "They had this chemistry from day one," said a fellow student who witnessed their bond forming. "It wasn't forced. It was natural. Like they had been waiting for each other." It wasn't long before they were inseparable, studying lines together, sharing meals, and offering each other the kind of emotional support that few others could understand. Their connection transcended friendship, blossoming into a love story that they carried quietly but firmly into adulthood. Breaking into the entertainment world. For young men like Oat and Oat, breaking into Thailand's entertainment industry wasn't easy. Competition was fierce, and the unspoken rule was that public figures were expected to maintain a marketable image. Yet, when they landed roles in My Stubborn, a BL, Boys Love, series that sought to challenge stereotypes and present more nuanced LGBTQ+ narratives, everything changed. Audiences were instantly captivated. Fans described their chemistry as electric and undeniable. Industry insiders, however, were more cautious, warning them to keep their personal relationship under wraps. But Oat and Oat made a different choice. They didn't wave banners or make dramatic announcements. They simply lived their truth, showing the world that love could be quiet, steadfast, and unapologetically real. Love in the public eye. As their popularity soared, so did the challenges. The couple was not spared from criticism. Some conservative circles dismissed their relationship as a publicity stunt. Others questioned whether their love would last under the pressure of fame. But Oat and Oat responded not with words but with actions. They appeared together at fan events, posted candid photos of their daily life, and refused to hide their affection. In one now viral livestream, a fan asked them what kept their relationship strong. Oat smiled and said, "Promises. We make small promises every day, to listen, to respect, to never walk away when things get hard. It's not always easy, but we keep choosing each other." That phrase, "we keep choosing each other," became a mantra among fans, etched into hashtags, merchandise, and even tattooed by some devoted supporters. Life beyond the spotlight. While their fame continued to grow, Oat and Oat never lost sight of their private joys. They loved cooking together, with Oat specializing in spicy curries while Oat perfected stir-fried dishes. They enjoyed late-night walks, playlists full of indie Thai bands, and quiet weekends at home watching foreign films with subtitles. Close friends described their relationship as deeply balanced. Where Oat was thoughtful and introspective, Oat was lively and adventurous. They completed each other in ways that made them stronger as individuals and as partners. They were best friends first, lovers second, a longtime colleague revealed. That's why they worked so well. They laughed a lot, argued a little, but always found their way back to each other. The weight of representation. Their openness carried more weight than they may have realized at the time. For many LGBTQ+ youth in Thailand and across Asia, Oat and Oat became symbols of hope. "I came out to my parents because of them," one fan confessed online. "Seeing them live openly made me believe I could too." Cultural critics often highlighted how their story shifted the conversation around LGBTQ+ relationships in Thai media. They weren't treated as caricatures or side plots. They were central, complex, and human. This shift was monumental, and it made their sudden loss feel not just personal but cultural. A promise that could not be kept. Their love story, filled with promises of travel, family acceptance, and continued growth, seemed unbreakable. But fate, with its cruel timing, intervened. The night of the crash now hangs over their narrative like a shadow, the final chapter no one was prepared to read. Their shared promises, once so full of possibility, now echo as reminders of life's fragility. Yet, even in death, Oat and Oat's bond continues to inspire. Fans, families, and communities alike cling to their story not as one of despair but as proof that love, real, raw, and resilient, can exist even in the harshest spotlight.